Hello, it's Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to call it Testimony Tuesday and just share some testimonies of what God's done in my life and just kind of get some stories of other people's and just have a back and forth. So, I want to share a testimony that happened to me recently, and it was me on my way to work and my car broke down, and I call my office manager and I'm like, hey, I can't make it. I wanted to say I can't make it in because that was the goal. Like I needed a day off, but she was like, oh no, I'm on my way to come get you. We need to help you. So I just waited for her to come, and she even offered to pay for my tow, and I was like, no, it's totally fine. I have the money. I already called them. They're on their way. So then I get into the office, and another gal goes, well, how are you going to get to work, and how are you going to bring your daughter to work? And I'm like, girl, you're stressing way more than me. I don't know. Good question. So then she was like, well, you can use my car until you get yours fixed. I have 3. And I was like, and that's how she sounds. She's just so happy. And I was like, what? And I was like, no, I think I'm fine. Or I was like, I'll take you up on that offer. And I just sat there and thought about it for the day. Well, when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, an Uber is going to be $80 a day just for one job. And I have a couple jobs, so it's going to be more than $80 a day. And I still have to get this car fixed. And I don't know what's wrong with it. So then a third thing happened, like miraculously that day. I work with a lot of blue collar men, so they are very handy, and I was just like kind of telling them what happened, a couple people here and there, and they're like, well, what's his name fixes cars? So he's happened to be walking past and hearing what's going on, and he was like, well, I can fix your car. He's like, for like $100. And I was like, like, I'll pay you more than that, but like, I know this is God. This is all God, all 3 of these people, because the usual me has nobody to call when I break down. Like roadside's, the only person I have, and then the rest is just on me to figure out, which is kind of fine, but God's like, I'm going to give you a break. So that is a background story, and that's not even the lesson I learned in all of this, because during this time of testimony, God revealed a lot to me. So I'm going to get to that next. This is my favorite part because I've learned so much from this testimony, and I've learned so much in the past 6 months just being so close to God and hearing Him and being wise and being obedient. And God gives us so many promises, but we have to take some steps to receive those promises, and that's like a whole different video. But let me get to what I've learned from this testimony. So the number one thing is Proverbs 11:2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but humility brings wisdom. And let me read another one. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So let me tell you about the car that I did accept and I did drive for a week. So this was not like a 2025 Nissan Altima. I knew the car that she was letting me borrow, and I knew it was like a 2002 Grand Mercury, and I had no problem in the world driving this car. I was so okay with driving this car. I was happy to drive this car. Oh my gosh, though. The looks that I got on the road, the laughs that I got on the road, people would just look at me and start laughing. And I promise you, I've gotten looks in life, but not this many. Like, I drive a Jeep on the daily, and I don't get looks at all, ever. I don't even get looked at. I don't get looked at and laughed at. So that was like the devil trying to destroy me, or like my situation or my blessing right away. And it hurt actually. It actually hurt because I was so happy to have this car, and then just to see how the world treated my blessing, to see how the world laughed at my blessing, it hurt in a deeper way than just like embarrassment. It hurt in a, what is wrong with this world? So I learned right away that, okay, I did the right thing by humbling myself under God's almighty blessings, and not being prideful and saying, oh, I got this. No, I got this. I'm not driving that. Or in my spirit thinking, no, I'm not driving that, because a haughty spirit before a fall is what Proverbs 16:18 says. And also Pride comes and then disgrace. So there's even more on this story. I would just lay there at night and just have deep anxiety about getting into this car the next day, because I know how people would look at me and how people would laugh at me. And then I just dove deep into prayer. I dove so deep into prayer, and God said, so this is what God revealed to me about this car, about the situation, and all of that in my sleep. And I had to wake up and I had to write it down. He said, this is what you would get if I treated you according to your behavior. Then he said, don't treat people according to their behavior. And the wildest thing about this is I was new to this job, so I was on judge alert. Like, I was like a judge in my head, just in my head, like, oh, whoa, she's like that. Oh, whoa, she's like that. But I never acted on it. And not saying I'm perfect, but he's telling me, don't continue to think these thoughts and think you're going to act on them, because we're not going to treat people like that. We're not going to treat people based on their behavior. We're going to treat them with grace. And then later on, I learned that I was treated with grace from this gal that I only knew a couple months, and I've probably gotten short-tempered with her a few times, just working together 40 hours a week, being together so much. I'm sure I have maybe been a little short-tempered here and there, or, sassy here or there. And she did not treat me based on my behavior. She treated me based on grace. And then another thing I learned is just with family and friends and random people, that I don't have to be quick to offense. I don't have to be quick to defense. I can be quick to treat them with grace. So that was one of the lessons I learned. And there's another one. I just kept having more anxiety about driving this car, and people maybe laughing at me some more and looking at me crazy and here and there. And, one day I just prayed again. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I just was shaky and I didn't know what to do. And that's another time that God spoke to me in my sleep. He said, it's not about where you are going. It's about who you are going with. And I took that as, it's not about what car I'm going to. It's not about what car I'm getting into. It's about who's in that car with me. It's not about what job I'm at, what job I'm going to. It's who's at that job with me. It's not about what season I'm in, what season I'm going to. It's about who's with me in that season. It's not about what's going on and where I'm going with family and friends. It's about who I'm with those people. So I just couldn't believe all the things that God revealed to me in that testimony, and how others can laugh at your blessing, but it's your blessing because God's going with you and God gave that to you. That makes me think of a question to pray on. What blessings is God giving you that you have been laughing at, that you have been scoffing at, that you have been saying, this is stupid, why me? That is pretty much kind of scoffing at God and his blessings. So for my own example, sometimes I look around and I think, God, why am I in this isolated place right now? A couple friends walked away, a couple family members walked away. I had to walk away from a couple people, and I'm like, this is stupid. But no, it's not, because God tells us to be faithful with little so he can bless us with more. To be faithful with what someone else is so he can bless us with more. So I don't need to be scoffing and laughing at anything that God's doing, because he is sending them down as blessings. And just like it hurt my feelings that someone else laughed at my blessings, it hurts God's feelings that I am laughing at his blessings. So hard question is there anything in your life right now that you're just scoffing about, but we can look at it as God's blessing? So that is Testimony Tuesday, and all the things I learned from the most recent blessing and testimony that God has placed right here in front of me in my life.